was grown in Maine. It was hulled in the Amherst at Southbury. All right?
He mentioned that it had to go through the machine twice.
Yeah, because it's dirty.
If you grow this rice and you don't have the machine,
Yeah,
what do you do with it?
good question. Plant it again and get more rice. Yeah, that's a good question. You'll have to come up to Christians. Take a weekend. Come up, right? Come out here, visit, go do the rice, right?
And get some miso.
Get some miso, that kind of thing.
How big is the rice hull?
Woody Johnson has one. Please describe it.
Probably about that high. Yeah. And
Didn't you used to hull it yourself going?
Yeah, no,
KI used to hull the rice. Yeah.
What happened to that?
well, we hull it.
I don't know what happened. That machine kind of went kaput.
That's
Oh, I
back
thought
when
you did it by hand.
No, it's done by machine. It's separated from the stalk by foot. By foot.
Yeah.
But still it has the husk that has to come off. Otherwise can't eat it. Right?
What do they do in the oil?
Yeah, I used to do it. You volunteer to come up and thresh?
Get a front row seat.
Anyway, you'll all get seed tomorrow night from Christian Elwell. He'll be giving seeds, a little packet of 5 seeds for everyone. And there's a video. Hopefully the technology will work and we'll be able to play the video. But he describes what to do with your 5 seeds.
What kind of soil are you supposed to have?
I would hope good, clean, organic soil. Okay? So he describes this on the video, and then you can take the seeds and grow them in a bucket, grow them in your backyard, and let's get started. And next year, hopefully we'll discuss that second step, right?
What happens when winter comes?
You don't plant until the spring. These seeds are just waiting.
So glad you asked that question.
Yeah, okay?
I mean, we don't have
Yeah.
How does
She was going to plant them under the snow. That won't work.
winter.
No, I know.
the fall? I mean, I'm a second-generation farmer here.
Spring meaning like
April, May, around that time, depending on where you live.
Yeah, but what do you do with the seeds, though, so that, somehow get room during the winter?
They won't. Just keep them in a nice, the room temperature place, cool place. They've got that husk, Marie. They can last 1,000 years with that husk. You know that, right? No. Okay. 1,000 years or more, they'll last. Okay. That's why we eat grain. No. All right, good. Thank you very much. This is pretty much the conclusion of our conference. Tomorrow's our final day. I read into Dr. Cottrell. Did you see her?
Yes.
90 years old. And I heard from our agents down in Florida that at her real birthday party in, I guess, March, she was the last one on the dance floor. So that kind of vitality at age 90, we all hope to achieve. And we'll be celebrating with her. With her. And also, speaking of longevity and vitality, I saw a notice on the notice board in the dining hall. Waddy Filer. Do you know Mr. Waddy Filer in Connecticut? 95 years old. He needs a macrobiotic chef. Any volunteers? Room and board included in Simsbury, Connecticut. Nobody? Okay.
Is he not doing well?
Oh, he's fine. He just doesn't want to cook. Janet, go. And you can teach him Tai Chi, right?
Does he have a big estate?
Huh?
Does he have a big estate?
He's got a beautiful old 1700s farmhouse. Beautiful house, many bedrooms, wood floors. Yeah.
I'd like to get out of that.
She's tired of Wisconsin.
I have a question. I'm sorry. Is the woman who's doing massage and acupuncture in the audience? Someone.
She had to leave. She's in Scotland. Yeah, she went to Scotland.
She lives in Lennox. Why, you need to...
No, someone else wanted it.
All right, great, guys. So tonight, kind of to conclude our studies this week, we're going to study from karma, and we need to define that. Karma to grace. So we've all heard these words many times, right? But let's try to arrive at a consensus definition. So who would like to tell us what is the karma and why we want to go from karma to something called grace. Anybody? Karma. What is karma? You remember instant karma from the 70s?
Karma has more of a concept of justice in the sense that you will reap what you sow.
Sounds like punishment.
And that, well, that you will feel the effects of what you have done. It will come back to you.
Okay.
Or in a more positive way, you will be given an opportunity to make good the mistakes that you made in the past.
Okay.
Having another chance.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's common perception of karma, right?
It's reincarnation, right?
That's part of it. Anybody else? Karma. What is the definition of karma? Hers was kind of like if you're bad, then punishment comes in the future. Something like that, right?
No, not
No, if
necessarily
you're good, it
punishment,
comes
but
back to you.
Oh, good comes back too. Oh, let's all be good then,
It's
right?
what you put out is what you get.
All right.
you reap.
What goes around comes
10
around,
times
right?
more.
Right.
1 to 7 ratio?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm in trouble. Anybody else want to weigh in? What is karma? Karma. Anybody?
Well, it was similar in that I think the Buddhists believe in a past life, whatever you did, and you come back to this life, and you will learn lessons
Okay.
and
So you're saying like from lifetime to lifetime.
from lifetime to lifetime. Although
How about within one lifetime?
that's how I feel also, is that within one lifetime, you're different people.
All right. So all the time this is going on, right? Okay. All right. Let's table that for now. How about grace? What is grace?
Grace is a gift. It can be considered
From who? Santa Claus? From?
I don't
From the divine.
In religion, it's God's unmerited favor.
Okay.
God's unmerited favor.
So just by your existence, you receive this. That's interesting, right? So from the universe, from God, from nature or something, some kind of special, what? Insider trading information? Some kind of special consideration. Okay? So let's see. First of all, I printed out from the internet the standard definitions of both terms for you, okay? So please, guys, please pass these around. All right, shall I read this while they're circulating? They're short.
Yeah, we'll pass that.
All right, noun, karma. In Hinduism and Buddhism, seems the origin was Sanskrit. The sum of a person's actions in this and previous states of existence, viewed as deciding their fate in future existences. That's kind of like what one of our friends said, right? Destiny or fate, following as effect from cause, origin, from Sanskrit, karman, action, effect, fate. So the kind of like cause and effect, right? Kind of what you said. What goes around comes round. Okay. Then how about grace? Grace is a noun. Noun, grace. Grace period, plural noun. Grace periods, noun. His grace, noun. Her grace, noun. Your grace. Number 1. Simple elegance or refinement of movement. This is interesting. She moved through the water with effortless grace. Okay? In Christianity, the free and unmerited favor of God, as our friend here told us, as manifested in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessings. And then also sub-definition, a divinely given talent or blessing. All right? She was graced with the ability to play piano, something like that, right? All right? So what is this? What is this?
Anything about the origin of the word, though, which is Latin for gift.
Gift. Okay, good.
So we speak Latin.
All right. So cause and effect versus gift. Okay.
Ed, is your mic on?
This is a recorder, Herb. This is not a PA system. Is it hard to hear? Should I perk up a little bit? Yeah, all right, I will. Let's see, okay? Let me give you two examples to help illustrate. Case one, and these are from friends actually that you've met here this week. Case one. She is under a lot of stress. Husband is ill, and the family is caring for the father, husband, at home. And those of you who've done home care for an ill person know how challenging that is, right? So to cope with that situation, she started drinking a lot of coffee, because she has to be alert throughout the day and into the night. And because she was taking so much coffee, she became, what do you think, acid or alkaline? Acid. Her stomach became very acidic, noticeably so. So to remedy that in the short term, she started taking all the time, all day long, over-the-counter antacid tablets, week after week, to cope with this. So she was in this like coffee, antacid. Can you see karma there, by the way? Very clear, right? We use the term yin and yang, right? This went on until, what do you think? Her condition became too yin or too yang, too acid or too alkaline, on the whole? Too alkaline. And what is the organ in the body regulating acid and alkaline? Balancing. Very good. Kidneys. Her kidneys failed. She was here this week. So, yes, became very what? Tight, right? Tight. Okay, so you had this cycle going on, right? Cause and effect. I'll put the yin part here, acid, and then opposite, alkaline, and then this prevailed, and kidneys failed. Okay?
The coffee that caused the kidneys to fall?
Combination, but especially the alkaline made the kidney contract and stop, right?
The alkaline was the antacids?
Yes. Strong yang, which produced then ultimately yin again, which is failure, inactivity of the kidney.
So, Ted, what do you mean when our kidneys failed?
Failed.
She had to go
Immediately to the emergency room, temporary dialysis, temporary rehydration, because she was totally dehydrated. Yin or yang condition. Coffee is yin, but it does what also? Dehydrates. So that plus the antacids, dehydration plus antacid, failure of the kidney.
This is scary. So what's the solution to the
The solution,
to this?
she called me and said, Ed, I want out of my kama. I want to enter grace. What should I do?
She wants to die.
So I pretended to scold her about this. Why did you do this? I was like the judge of karma, laughing the whole time. She's been macrobiotic a long time. And so our task was to restart her kidney. So that means frozen, stopped, right, isn't it? This should be active, heat. So what should we apply from the outside, hot or cold?
Ginger compress.
Hot. Either hot towel, hot salt pack, or even ginger compress if necessary.
How about
Restart.
just hot bath
Yes, hot bath, very good.
with Epsom,
No salt. Epsom salt would be the worst thing to do. Make it much worse. Just plain hot water. In fact, the opposite of Epsom salt. What?
What would that be?
To literally pull out the salt from her body.
Oh, to drain it out.
Daikon.
Lemon.
Lemon bath, very good. Citrus bath. Open the pores. In other words, the crystallized salt in her pores, dissolve that. and let this excess yang come out.
Is there such a thing?
Yes.
No, this
Okay.
is serious. I'm interested.
Yeah. If you want to know more about lemon bath, right? Please go online. YouTube, right? YouTube. Yuzu. Yuzu bath in Japan. Yuzu.
Would a lemon bath also help drain or remove calcium from the tissues?
Yes. Any kind of excess crystallizing, mineralizing in the body, this helps to relieve. And it should be hot.
Reverse osmosis does the same thing that the Epsom salt does.
Epsom salt do not use. Too high in magnesium.
Using that as an
That makes the worst condition. Please don't use Epsom salt.
But with the lemon salt, is there a salt?
Not salt, just lemon juice squeezed in.
Would that help bone spurs?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. And never eat chicken or eggs again, right? You're developing chicken foot, right?
So is this going to
That's
demineralize?
kama.
Is this demineralizing her with the heat?
Yeah,
and the-
what you have, Donna, is the salt. You know, like do this.
Yeah,
What taste?
yeah, salt.
That means crystals blocking, sometimes accumulating months and months, even years of salt, minuscule crystals blocking your discharge.
So how are you going to squeeze that many lemons to fill up a tub?
She's thinking only lemon juice. You would dissolve yourself if you did that.
Okay.
You run hot bath water, okay, and half a dozen lemons sliced in half is enough.
Really? And
Yeah,
you
it's
use
more
like
than
water?
enough.
You're demineralizing somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Japan, please Google this, the YouTube
Which is
this.
why
Yuzu is their
we don't
version of
suggest
citrus.
Going into jacuzzis and hot tubs and long showers because it pulls out minerals.
No, for someone over-mineralized, those things are good,
Right. But
including many long-term macrobiotic friends who have oversalted. They need this. Okay, you won't believe how radiant you become after this.
All right.
Okay, hot
What's the name of it?
lemon bath.
So you said for excess crystallizing or alkalizing?
Huh?
For excess crystallizing or alkalizing?
Respell it for you?
For excess crystallizing or excess alkalizing?
Her case was she was holding all this alkaline stuff, there's antacids,
Right.
plus salt. She lives, by the way, right on the ocean, right down by Cape
So all she
Cod.
has to do is breathe that she was getting salt.
Yeah, okay, so already young. And so that was one of the things. Heat, right? Can you imagine heat to restart soaking in a very hot lemon bath, okay? Plenty of liquid. Constant rehydration was recommended
What
by
would
me.
you drink? Just
Water.
water? Plain water?
And then also something like hot apple juice. To
That's
also, yeah, sweet and also activate kidneys and then urination as well.
If you're not having excess salt, because I guess miso is salty, someone told me that if you drink a little miso soup, it's more hydrating than just water, but I guess,
I would not have recommended that to her, not with failed kidneys.
but if,
You don't want to have sodium going in there much, right?
but if it's just dehydration and not all the other stuff, is that a truth or?
I would say the safe bet is just drink water. Play it safe. All right, so she did this. And she went from karma to grace. Kidneys were okay. After a couple of days, doctors were amazed. Your kidneys are fine now. Amazing, right? Very simple. Simple tweaking.
How did she take a bath with the temporary dialysis catheter?
I don't know those details. I don't think I think they restarted partially. And she wasn't rigged up. So she was mobile and free to do that. Okay?
What kind of dialysis do they do?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Just temporary. Mostly rehydration, actually. I think it was mostly intravenous, the water.
An implant in your arm. I don't
Okay.
know that big.
That's not temporary.
She went from karma, right? Trapped. To grace, back to normal, right? Grace is normal, right? Normal, happy life. For her, she's still dealing with the stress of her family, but she has her vitality back.
So how long was that, did she do this? The
It took to get completely functional up to normal.
how did she get disabled?
Weeks. It
Weeks?
took
Only
weeks.
weeks?
Yeah, weeks. Okay, because she was sensitive, right? Macrobiotic long time. Plus, this was blocked.
What?
Okay, blocked. Her skin was not discharging. Blocked. So the lemon bath broke that. Broke that cycle, actually, yeah.
And did she also do a ginger compress, did you say? Or just the lemon bath?
Lemon bath, I believe she didn't do ginger, but hot towel compress. And also, by the way, one more heat thing, which I showed on Monday, Moxa. She's knows Oriental medicine, so she has a kit with Moxa, stick
Where did she
Moxa.
apply the Moxa?
Kidney 1, the kidney point that we studied on Monday. You remember?
This one?
No, bottom of the foot, kidney
So
1.
she do body scrubs too?
Yeah, she also did. But the key point, that wasn't enough. The key point was the lemon, to crack the salt deposits, right?
How long would you stay in the bath?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Is that all?
That's all. That's enough. The thing with this is if you do this, don't have anything else on your schedule that night because you're so relieved and
What's going to happen?
as if years of stress goes away. And you sleep the most deep, peaceful sleep you can imagine. So don't drive a car after that. Don't operate machinery.
Since I got here.
Lemon bath. The Japanese people once a year do this on the winter solstice. And they use yuzu. They put them in the bath, they squeeze them, and actually they're floating in the hot bath, and they do this once a year. Okay, vitamin C, right? Okay, absorbing, isn't it? Can you see? Solstice, dark. Getting rid of the yang and getting ready for the change of season into the yin springtime. Already by winter solstice, they're already preparing. And if you YouTube this, you'll see the videos of this, right? Wonderful. Right? I'll ask Naomi to comment on this. Naomi, can you say something about yuzu bath?
Yuzu bath is quite traditional winter solstice things, and then also once a year, just once a year, if we do this, we don't catch a cold. That's my grandma always does that. So kind of
Yeah, vitamin C, right?
traditional thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and stored yang out, right? Stored yang. All right.
How long would they bathe in Japan?
They stay half hour, something like that.
We don't stay in the bathtub not so long, but just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay. But once a year, the day, every family has to take a yuzu bath. That is our tradition.
So you don't go visiting anyone?
That's right. The streets are clear that night. All right, good. So that was the first case of karma to grace, right? Second case, case 2. All right. Also, somebody who was at the conference. Case 2. Restless leg syndrome, RLS, is that right? So before this case, we've all heard of restless leg. I didn't take it that seriously. I thought it was like a twitch or something. But apparently it's a big deal, right? Donna, tell us, what is it?
Yes. It's a very uncomfortable situation. People cannot sleep at night because their legs are
That
lost in motion.
uncontrollable, right?
Yes.
That's different from having cramps?
Yes.
What happens to our legs?
There are different kinds. There's like this kind, there's this kind.
So it's a neurological.
Uncontrolled twitching or movement.
Or just
Different kinds are there.
Yes.
We'll see in a minute. There's yin and yang, both, right?
is pain involved?
I think there's pain involved, isn't there?
I don't think
If the muscles really tighten, then yes, in some cases. It's irritating.
It's like a nervy sensation along the nerve tract.
Does it make you tired?
Well, you don't sleep, so yes, you will be tired in the morning.
Okay.
Something is wrong in your leg.
Let me ask you this, from what you know already about energy, would you think this is too much or too little energy?
Too much.
Too much.
Too much, good. both through the nerve pulse and also through the so-called meridians. Too much, and the nighttime is discharging. All right? And some of you may know the cycle of 5 energies, 5 transformations. Tree, morning, fire, noon, soil, afternoon, we studied today. Metal, evening, and water, night. And organs are corresponding to each of those, right? So what about nighttime? That's water energy. Kidney bladder. So we suspect this kidney bladder system, something is amiss, causing this, okay? That's suspicion. By the way, her twitching was like this, okay? Really strong.
So what happens during the day when she's standing or something?
It tends to be at night when kidney and bladder, right? It's corresponding. Kidney and bladder quiet down, then other organs take more dominance during the other times of day. All right?
It's neurological. They treat it with gabapentin, which is it suppresses the nerve.
The nerve part.
Yeah.
However, the organ part and meridian part is not dealt with. Nor is the energetic dimension. To really understand this, you have to go beyond just modern nutritional understanding and see the energetics. Meanwhile, like she was saying, she asked me when she was talking, she's cured this. She's cured it. Should I have taken kuzu? Should I have taken this or that? No. This is energetic. And this is caused by something you were doing in excess.
You're talking about RLS now, right?
What's that?
You're talking about the nervous leg syndrome now.
Yeah, case 2. All right. So think back, right? Think first of all, food is energy. So when grains are growing in the field, what kind of energy is this? Upward. Yes? Also downward. These heads are actually caused by downward. Heavens was, by the way. And these are antennae conducting the universe's energy, right? The aunts.
Taking energy up from the ground.
But generally speaking, if you've ever gone into a field, how do you feel? Peace. Harmonious, right? It's amazing. It's palpable. It's not an illusion. It's real. All the elements of nature are in their proper place, and here you are, we're part of that, enjoying. Right? So when you eat that, what kind of energy comes to you? Peaceful. Centered. Communing with the cosmos, right? The universe, nature, right? With each other. If a community eats that, then they're very peaceful together. So the ancient character for peace is, in Chinese, peace in society is cereal, grain, and mouth, eating grain. Did you know that? Yeah, okay. So that's that. So obviously she was doing something that was way off from that. Way off from that peace. Because part of that peace is when you go to sleep at night, what? You face the cosmos and you recharge, right? Totally peaceful. Not disturbed. Isn't it? Or bad dreams even, right? All kinds of disturbances there.
What was she doing? Coffee ice cream.
Something. Yeah, it should be that fun.
Chocolate.
It wasn't that fun. Much more sinister.
Watching porn movies?
Marijuana.
What?
Oh,
No. Much less fun than that. Frankenstein. Yeah, kind of.
playing the piano.
What was she doing?
Can you imagine? Horrible.
What?
When, for example, pig is slaughtered. Did you ever see this?
Yeah.
Okay. She was eating pork almost every day.
Oh, really? What? She was eating pork.
And drinking ice cold beer, of course, right?
Bacon, pork chops.
Yeah, I don't know what for. But she.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Thank you for not doing that, by the way. Can you understand that? That energy. She was becoming that.
I would have thought thought it would have been a more extreme yin energy that she was taking in too much coffee, sugar,
Ice cold beer.
Yeah.
Ice cold beer. So that is an example of yang restless leg.
Did she stop eating pork?
Yeah, you'll see. She's in state of grace now.
So
Okay?
her hands were shaking? Or
No,
feet?
leg. The pig's all 4 legs, right? 4 legs are doing that, right? Isn't it?
Are you making this up or is this true?
Should I start calling witnesses? First witness is my wife, who thinks this is ridiculous. She said, don't say that at the conference. Second witness is Mark Leonis, who knows the person and who was part of the whole process. Mark, please witness. Very
It's called being on the kill floor, and that's how they kill them.
This is karma in the extreme. Don't you agree? Extreme karma.
She was not macrobiotic.
Probably so.
My mother had a restless like I do too occasionally, and we don't eat pork, and she never drank beer.
Would it come?
No, there are many types of restless leg. This was the pork type.
Does it come from chicken too?
Yeah, yeah. You'll notice too that the chicken and the pig, their leg muscle, what kind of muscle compared to ours? Very tight. Isn't it? Like hoof comes out at the end, right? Or claw comes out. Tight. So that meant, together with the spasm, her muscles were tightening, becoming like the leg of the pig, right? Okay? Very tight.
How is she now?
She's in a state of grace.
So aside from the basic macrobiotic diet, what else did she do to...
You know, Donna, nothing especially. What should she do to escape that karma?
Don't eat pork.
Stop totally that food, right? Stop it. Jump out of that cycle, right? Get out of it. And that's what all she did, became more plant-based or sometime vegan, perhaps, macrobiotic, and literally just went away. Together with many other the problems too, like skin problems and this and that.
What possessed her to be doing that?
The eating that way? I don't know.
She was macrobiotic.
No, this is before. She didn't do this after she heard my lecture. Are you kidding? This was long before we met, right? Okay. She, on her own, that was the thing going on, at that time in her place, right?
Did you ask her to keep a food journal, or how did you know?
This happened long before we met.
Not like she's not.
This happened before we met. I didn't know her at that time.
But how did you know she ate pork every day?
She
'Cause
said.
to her, that was probably just her normal diet. So she's not going to say, "Oh, I eat pork every day."
Mark, how did we discover? We discovered it online, right? How did we? It came out that I suggested that, right? And then she said she was eating it, right?
She confessed to it.
And then rise, young lady, you are now absolved, right?
So did you
I
give her
had a
solution
sword.
to stop eating the pork?
She had done this already on her own.
Oh, so
We were looking backward to the cause of that previous condition that she had had. She was already in a state of grace, and we were laughing about it. She, on her own, discovered no more pork. It wasn't because of me.
And the ice cold beer made it.
That made the kidney overactive and blocking the normal flow. I strongly believe she had kidney stone at that time, and that was also causing. Because the main vertical line in the body is up the kidney meridian and down the bladder meridian, up and down.
had a lot of pain.
Yeah, I would assume that spasming must have made pain. So she went, together with case 1, she went from karma to grace. Just by those dietary, no particular remedies. Yes, maybe acupuncture, maybe massage would have helped, but it wasn't needed. Her case was so obvious and so grossly apparent that just her diet was enough. In other words, from that horrible, the karma to that state of grace, okay? She entered. All right, yes, comment.
Doctors now treat a restless leg with quinine. They get pills, but I have found that I get relief from drinking tonic water, and I choose, the kind that is hard to find, but there is kinds I don't know if I'm sure there are.
Yeah. Anyway, don't eat pork. The other type of yin restless leg is often caused by what? Do you know? This is the yang type. The yin type, what do you think? Do you know this is very interesting?
Sugar.
Nightshade vegetables. More like this kind. Like this. Or even fish can cause this, right? You know, fish is like this, right?
Fish is causes the yang and the yin.
Which? Fish is still yang, but less so than pork.
So it would cause more of an yin.
A little bit towards the yin compared to pork, yeah, but more yang than tomato, potato, nightshade, right? Okay. Once I saw Kripalu is nearby. You know Kripalu, the big yoga center? Years and years ago, they used to come, their staff, to our house for consultations. And two guys came. They were volunteers there. And they used to sleep in dormitories there, men's and women's dormitories. And these two guys couldn't sleep. They both got up at night and walked around Kripalu. Insomnia. And they were vegans. Nightshades diet. They were eating nightshades, which grow at night. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure. And they stopped. And then they were able to sleep. Very interesting, right? All right, so let's see then, more in depth from this introduction. Karma to grace. What it is.
So you take a bath of lemonade.
No, not quite. All right.
Is this case 3?
No, now we're going to go further and see the background to what is karma and grace, okay? All right. Yeah. For this escape from karma to grace, right, we need to understand what this means in terms of energy. Because each day, every day, each of us are dealing with this, right? We're either entering a karma zone, cause and effect, or we're entering a state of grace where we're more or less free and happy and no problems, right? And what this is our balance with the environment on our planet. Okay? The grace is a state of harmony between yin and yang. The karma is a state of extreme. And the more extreme we go, the more what comes around in terms of our diet. So her case, right, eating lots of pork, that's very extreme. The more extreme you go, the more what comes back. The more the consequences come back. And the further extreme we go, the more serious those consequences become, right? Do you agree? Yeah. Okay. So in order to understand this, we need to understand what is extreme and what is balance. And so as we know, yin and yang balance, right? What does that mean? That means balancing incoming energy from the universe, so-called heaven's force, cosmic force, including the sun's rays, right? Heaven. And the earth force going back out. And which of these is yin and which of these is yang, by the way? Going up, which is yin, okay, or coming in, which is yang. I just gave you the answer, okay. This is yin. Sorry, third lecture today. Which lecture is this? Heaven's force is contracting, yang, downward, right? Earth's force is rising, upward, yin. All right? So what is? You know we're here studying macrobiotics. The whole point of macrobiotics is to try to balance yin and yang in daily eating and daily life, isn't it? That's what we're trying to learn how to do. How do you do that? In your day-to-day eating, what is the balance point between yin and yang in daily life, daily eating? What is that balance point? Do you know?
Grain, rice.
But why?
Doesn't have something to do with like a pH balance. And
Comprehensive answer is better.
And also
Because
because it's the closest to the 7-to-1 ratio.
Very good. There's a ratio, golden ratio of yin and yang average on our planet. Which force is stronger, which is less strong? The coming in, yang force, or going out, yin force? Which is more powerful? Which force is creating the dense matter? We live in a material world, right? Which of those two? This or this? Yang, condensing force, is more powerful. We're in a material world, right? Correct? The earth. So this coming in force, generally on the earth, is 7 times stronger than this force. How do we know that? How do we know that?
7's a good number.
We know, right? Human beings, our human species, is the most biologically advanced of anything else on the planet, right? Or please tell me something more advanced. I'm watching Planet Earth. Are you on Netflix? I can't miss an episode. And I'm trying to find, they show all animals, right? Different, everywhere, right? Desert, mountain, North Pole. I'm trying to find some species that has the better posture than we have. What's so unique about our posture? Vertical. So someone once said in a lecture, I talked about this, well, how about penguins? They're kind of a and then they had a whole episode about the penguins, right? Their heads are like this, right? They're not straight up. Right? They're not, even though they look like this, they're kind of like.
They don't have the shoulders. They don't have
Yeah, I know.
They don't have the neck.
If you watch that show, it's nothing but yin and yang. I can't stop it. It's like, oh my God, so perfect. Carnivores spend their time fighting with each other over food and mates, right? Isn't it? Yang. Isn't it? Penguins make a big circle and they go to the center to warm up and then they go out to the periphery, right? It's all yin and yang. Yeah. Yeah, the males are watching the egg. Yes, go ahead, Carol.
Cost of our phenomenal posture is that we absolutely destroy everything within this grasp or this sight. So blessed is our posture that we are cursed with our own karma.
No, this is grace, Carol. This is grace. Because these guys are standing straight up and so are we. This is grace. This means you are directly in tune with the entire universe. All right? Like no other, okay? All right? And please don't mistake that. And, right, our form is governed by 1 to 7. So let's see. You're in good condition. Come up. You've improved so much from last year. How do you see 1 to 7? In the average human form, she's representing everybody. This is 1, average. This is 7 times more. This is growing up. This is growing down. Yes?
Yes.
Undeniable. And if you look at grain and you measure the root to the plant above, also 1 to 7. If you measure the head portion where the grains appear versus the rest of the plant, also 1 to 7. So they and us are sharing this. And that 1 to 7 is our state of grace. Just again on the show, the planet Earth, since I'm very busy, I can't go down to the beach much. I love to go down and watch the waves. But they showed beautiful waves breaking in. And there's how do you feel when you watch that? Free and light and, I mean, terrific, right? Because 1 to 7. So that state of grace, like waves coming in, is our natural state of being. Okay, 1 to 7. All right, yes, please.
How does this affect you when you get old, when you shrink?
When you shrink?
Yeah. And you're not any longer 7 to, or maybe.
So what should you
A couple
do?
inches are missing.
You stretch and also you eat less salt. You would eat less, so you stay a little more yin. So that means, right, this is 7, this is 1. Which should be stronger in our diet, plant food or animal food? Plant is this. Right? This plant food to counterbalance that, right? To be like the free waves, right? Should be 7 times more than animal food.
I don't understand why one's animal and one's plant.
What is an animal compared to a plant?
Yeah.
It's a condensed form of the plant, right?
Because it ate the plant.
All animal life is traceable back to the plant kingdom, either directly or indirectly, right? Plant kingdom is the mother of all animal life. Did you know that? Even the lion. What is the lion eating? Processed plant, right? Isn't it? And the more advanced you become, the more condensed the animal becomes. All right? It's apparent. So plants are the more diffuse, right, form of the environment, growing in what direction usually? Mostly what? Expelling what gas?
Oxygen.
Yin oxygen, repelling the light gas. We are growing mostly down, isn't it? And in. And we are absorbing the oxygen. Correct? If you look at our lung. Donna, you studied physiology. Tell us about the lung structure, how it's fractally branched. Please tell us.
From the nostrils down through the trachea.
Yeah.
The tracheal tree splits in two. Into right and left. Left is a little smaller than the right to compensate for the size of the heart. Within each lung tissue, you have little sacs of alveoli that they're like little sacs that expand with the in-breath and contract with the out-breath. So we take in and out oxygen and carbon dioxide. Very vasculature that surrounds all these sacs so that blood can, make the exchange of gases.
All right, so what she's saying is if you look at that lung structure, is it becoming more yin or more yang as you progress? First of all, up or down? Beginning from here, right? Down. More large or small, the passage? More and more yang, small, right? This is a reverse tree. Do you understand this? It's structured like a tree, but in reverse. Yang. This tree, these outside trees are all the same pattern, but yin. Can you understand? Expanding up, this is expanding in. Okay? We are yang. So that means, right, to move freely, like the waves, on the surface of this planet, to like glide, kind of like glide along the surface. We don't do this ratio, we do the opposite of this ratio. Do you understand? If heaven's downward force is 7, then we should take the opposite, 7 times more. Do you understand? So that we neutralize that. So when you cook brown rice, what do? You cook a pot of brown rice with water, okay, yin, and you add a tiny pinch of salt. You don't do the reverse. You don't cook a pot of salt with a pinch of rice, you see? Okay? Do you understand? 7 times more yin. All right? All right. How do we do this? Yes, please.
7 yin for 1 yang.
Yeah. 7 times more yin than yang. Okay? That means 7 times more plant food than animal food. How about our friend eating pork? What was she doing? Completely off. How about taking antacid and coffee? Both extremes off, isn't it? Same thing like pork and ice cold beer. Extremes on both sides, missing the middle. All right? So far okay? So that 1 to 7 state is our state of grace. Our original state. No sickness. Okay? Freedom. Free movement, free flexibility, no impediment. No blockage in the circulatory system, for example. No kidney stone, for example. Everything is freely moving. How do we do that? Well, the best way to do that, you know already, is to eat the foods which in themselves come closest to this 1 to 7 ratio. So I'd like to give you some examples. And this is from, do a little plug here. This is from my new book, Macrobiotic Nutrition. So this talks about the 1-to-7 ratio and how foods either come close or go far away from that. So let's take a few examples. And these are from the USDA and Japan Nutritional Group. They analyzed samples, 100 grams of different foods, whole ranges of foods. By the way, these analyses are what? What are they actually? Suppose they analyzed the amount of protein in 100 grams of beans. What are these figures actually telling us? These are the official government statistics, but what are they actually? They can't be exact.
Well, it's
They're
not
nothing
about-
but averages.
It isn't about how it affects the human body.
Yeah, that's also true. By the way, this analysis is quantitative. Quantitative, right? We're going to look at. There's also qualitative, which is immeasurable. But we both need to be considered, right? The point is that no two beans are the same. Bean A is different than bean B, value-wise. Do you understand that? No two grains of rice are identical. No two eggs are the same, isn't it? No two packages of soya tofu are the same. Do you know there's variation? Yes, there's a range, but there's a variation between each unit, right? Do you agree? Right? So these are averages. So whenever you see these kind of statistics, don't think that's it. No, this is an estimate, average, right? So how do we measure? First of all, we measure minerals, right? Is that the most yin or yang part of our nutrients? Yeah. Condensed, right? We need the least minerals, right, compared to other nutrients, okay? Then next, we measure protein and fat. Fat can be counted either as inactive protein or inactive carbohydrate, depending on its source and use in the body. So we're going to put them together, protein and fat. And then carbohydrate. The ratio in our diet, in our foods, ideally is 7 times more. Then this counts as 1, and then 7 times more. Can you see a spiral? By the way, what's beyond carbohydrate in terms of our 7-to-1 nutrient requirement? Beyond carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is the limit of our so-called physical solid food. What's beyond that? Water. And then what's even beyond that? Before that? Air, oxygen. Then beyond that is like sunlight, and beyond that is invisible waves and vibration. All 1-to-7.
Invisible?
Waves, vibration. Okay? For example, gravitational force, cosmic rays, etc., right? So the best way to be in that state of grace is to base our diet, not exclusively, but primarily, on foods that carry 1-to-7 within themselves, without having to go outside of that food for opposite foods to make balance. Do you see what I'm saying? Let's take examples, and these are in the book. Let's look at brown rice. Okay, whole brown rice. Short grain. According to their analysis, 1.2 grams of mineral ash. Mineral ash is what's left over after the sample is burnt. All of the carbohydrate, water, protein goes off, and then ash. You know when you burn wood, right? Charcoal is like. Then protein and fat, 7.5 and 1.9. Okay? Carbohydrate, 77.4. How does that look from a 1-to-7 perspective? Not so bad, right? As an average, not so bad, right? Not perfect, but hey, show me something better. There is something better.
The carbs are 10 times more than the protein and fat.
Oh yeah? 7 times. This adds up to close to 10. Yeah. Okay. There is something better. Should I tell you?
Fat burning
was like the most balanced?
Mother's milk. More perfectly 1 to 7, right? And how much does that cost? Free. Breastfeeding, right? Isn't it? And we're going to compare that to cow's milk. You're going to be shocked how bad cow's milk is, right? How off from 1 to 7 it is, right? How inappropriate it is for human beings. Yes, please, Don.
Breast milk changes every month according to the baby's needs. So breast milk
Every day.
from a newborn is going to be different than the mother's milk at 8 months.
How can Hood Dairy compare
You
to
know,
that?
they found an element in breast milk that for centuries no one can find out what it is. And it turns out they recently discovered that it's a precursor to a prebiotic for colon development for future life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, like essential fatty acids that are in mother's milk, brain development. They're not in cow's milk.
Yeah, we couldn't hear the details of what you were saying because your head was turned that way.
Oh.
Repeat it.
There's an element in breast milk that scientists could never know what it was, and they didn't know if it was important or not. And it turns out that they recently have discovered that this element is a precursor to a prebiotic for gut health that helps the baby develop a healthy microbiome for future life.
Yeah, immunize.
Yeah.
Also the ability to digest milk, I bet.
Well, and this is about future life. It doesn't help the baby right away, but it's for future
Yeah,
life.
I mean, you could write volumes on the benefits of mother's milk.
You don't mean the next life, you mean life.
Both. No, that too. That too.
They're finding now in mother's milk, the process end product of jet fuel, parabens, phthalates, GMOs, At some point, they may be telling mothers not to breastfeed anymore because of the
And what kind of food makes her body hold those things rather than discharge that?
fat.
Yeah, bad food.
Bad foods.
So macrobiotic mothers are discharging that.
Yeah.
They're clean. Their milk is clean. All right, brown rice, not bad, right? Hey, we can't go back to breastfeeding now. Too late. But the point is as much as we'd like to, but we can't. Okay, so now we're stuck with brown rice. But anyway, nothing wrong, okay? Nothing wrong.
There's no fat in brown rice.
No, there is, but low fat, right? And the quality, don't forget, lurking behind this, Maria, is quality. The quality of oil here and the quality of fat in an egg is very different.
Right, but the thought that occurred to me is, for instance, babies are fed milk. Now, if you were to just give them rice milk, for instance, or brown rice milk,
No.
there's no fat in there, and it's a known
No,
fat.
that's not adequate. So, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
The brain requires fat.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Whole wheat, part of the grain family. The grain family is close to 1 to 7, but let's take a look, right, at wheat. Wheat is 1.7 grams, the mineral ash, 14 grams protein, 2.2 grams the fat, 69.1 the carbohydrate. Explain the difference, anybody. Wheat is rich in what? Twice as much protein as rice. Can you see that? This is if you're eating more plant-based, this is an excellent source of protein. And what have they done to mess up wheat so that people can't do it anymore? Not GMO, hybridized. And glyphosate, hybridization. Wheat used to be a very delicate ancient grass. What, Sumeria, Egypt, 10,000 years at least, right? Delicate yin grass we were eating.
With arms.
Huh?
With arms.
With aunts. They called it bearded. And then the 1970s, they modified, not genetically modified, but hybridized to create this high-yield wheat to tolerate more pesticide that grew quicker. And instead of one crop, 2 crops. But at the same time, that hybridized more yang. If you see it, it's like a scrub bush compared to beautiful, delicate wheat. All kinds of new forms of gluten, which had never been in heirloom wheat, appeared. And from that point on, the epidemic of gluten sensitivity began. Gluten sensitivity. So they're not sensitive to heirloom wheat, to this modern wheat, which is like more than 90% of the wheat in the modern diet is that now. So gluten sensitivity, very simply, is a reaction to that. Do you agree? Not normal. When we started counseling back in the 70s, 1970s, nobody had gluten sensitivity. Yes, you had the occasional, the celiac, very rare, which was a genetic, the immune reaction to any kind of gluten. But that was incredibly rare. Now everywhere, gluten sensitivity, right? This is because of the reaction to modern tampering with this, the primary, not yet GMO. This is hybridization. Because of Alex and myself, we prevented GMO wheat. We're Amberways, we actually did behind the scenes. So that means, like, brown rice is fabulous, but wheat is a very good source of protein. Is everybody here able to?
That's how we evolved in this country to be where we are today, until they changed.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you still get heirloom wheat?
Yes, you can. All right, organic heirloom wheat, right?
Where?
For example, our udon, our products are all using good wheat. All right?
Okay.
The good, that's okay. But wheat itself, heirloom organic wheat, like Berkshire Mountain Bakery is using that type of wheat for its products. You have to source them. Okay, but commercial baked products, commercial wheat products, all out. Okay, GMO. Not GMO. Hybridized, right? Hybridized.
And I think another reason for the gluten sensitivity epidemic is the overuse of wheat. Eating too much of it.
Maybe, yeah. And not enough rice, yeah, of course. That's a whole different topic which I address in the book, including sandwiches, why that was a turning point for eating, by the way. When that became popular, grain was no longer the central food. Grain became the carrier for meat or something else, right? Isn't it? And also eating was no longer a family or communal thing. People individually. Right? Okay. So eating really changed from as something as mundane as, which I liked. I mean, I love sandwiches. But they shouldn't be the main food. What are the two most popular foods in the U.S.?
Pizza and
Hamburger, both are hot sandwiches, right? Open face and sandwich, right?
And gravy.
They've taken over, right? Taken over.
And maybe like pizza?
Pizza is an open-faced hot sandwich. Yeah? Okay. Hamburger is obviously a hot sandwich, right? We're going out afterwards, right? They have vegan burgers somewhere. All right. Let's look at soybean. 4.7 mineral. 34.1 protein. 17.7 fat, largely unsaturated, meaning liquid. 33.5 carbohydrate. So looking at that, guys, tell me why soybeans are not suitable as our main food. Grains are.
Because they've been modified.
Not even before GMO. Yes, of course GMO bad, but before that, just from this. Yeah, okay. They're really high in what? Protein and fat, right? Lacking in carbohydrate. Can you see? And all that protein is a little hard to digest, right? Did you know? Have you actually cooked the yellow soybeans? Have you tried? They take forever. Isn't it? You got to soak them for weeks, or I don't know, but they take a long time, right? Isn't it? Okay? So what did just like our genius ancestors invented bread, because wheat is tough. Our genius ancestors in China and Asia did what to their soybean? To liberate. They fermented. They created products like miso, natto, soy sauce, to access that high-quality protein and also create a more balanced food by combining the soybean often with what? Barley, brown rice, wheat, okay? And then that is very balanced. product like miso, right? So compared to soybeans, which is easier to handle? Instant. Miso is like an instant food, right? Gone, done, right? Isn't it? Soybeans are a week-long project, but miso, instant. Or tofu, even. Tofu is, more wet, fat and water. But still, some protein is there from soybean. And also calcium, by the way.
Excuse me, weren't the soybeans used more for animal food?
Not traditionally, no, they never were.
Huh?
Never. No, not in Asia, never. Too valuable. Why waste them? Why waste them? Let's take a look at beef, and we'll see how inefficient this is. This is good karma. This is grace. Okay, now let's go to the bad karma. Let's see beef, right? And then you'll see how far off this is from the state of grace, right? Not to mention the energetic part, right? This is just purely the nutritional part. Beef is 0.8 grams of mineral. 16.9 grams of protein. The 26.7 grams of fat. Now, that's just quantitatively, right? How about qualitatively compared to the fat in the soybean, for example? How different? Qualitatively, this is huge.
It depends what
I'll regress to the last night's skit. This is huge. Okay? Soybean is liquid, unsaturated for the most part, right? Right? Beef fat is what?
Saturated.
Hard, saturated fat. So qualitatively and quantitatively, both, right? And what is the shocking takeaway here, by the way? Which is higher in protein? Soybeans or beef?
Soybeans.
How much higher? Almost double. Yes, double, right? Would you say double? Okay, how about that? Guys, how about that? So this is a myth that you need animal food, beef, for protein. That's ridiculously propaganda. Okay? Propaganda to sell products. All right? Do you agree? Yeah. All right? And beef, and let's see, okay, a couple more examples, because this shows you where things go awry when you start venturing out to these extremes. This is an extreme food. Can you see that? Why do we call that an extreme food? Beef. Why is that considered extreme compared to brown rice?
It doesn't have the 1 to 7.
Exactly. Lacking in various factors, right? And too much of one factor and not enough of other factors. White sugar is similar, right? No, right? One factor isolated. All right. Let's see egg, and then we'll give some fun examples of our previous eating. Egg. And let's see, how many of you guys like sashimi? Japanese restaurant food. No hands are going up. You're all vegans or what?
What is the sheep?
It's fish.
Yeah, of course.
He's in trouble after this lecture tonight. Let's see salmon, right? Salmon.
But what happened to
So what
eggs?
happened to eggs?
Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll get around to that. Let's also see sugar, white sugar. I'm leaving out all the good things. Some of them are in the book, like cabbage and apples and all.
How about wine? Alcohol.
You know what that is. I don't need to tell you, right? All right, so egg. 1.0 mineral. 12.9 protein. So again, soybean is better. Beans, right? Whole wheat is better. All right, 11.5 fat, mostly what kind? All right. And 0.9 carbohydrate. I have no idea where that is, but it's there a little bit. Salmon. 1.4 mineral. 22.5 Wow, strong, huh? Protein. 13.4 fat. And again, 0, like beef, carbohydrate. Sugar, by the way, no mineral, no protein, 0, no fat. And I don't know what's missing, but 99.5 simple sugar, right? That's what you call extreme foods, right? Can you say?
Yes.
Let's start.
What about cheese?
Cheese, oh, see, how can we forget?
Depends on the cheese.
Yeah, but again, average 3.7
This is cow cheese,
cow cheese,
as opposed to goat.
not Chev, gourmet, right? 25.0, much higher in protein, by the way, because the baby cow has to grow. 32.2 fat, oh my gosh, right? Wow, what kind of fat? 2.1 protein, so that explains the crackers and the wine, okay? Okay. All right, think back.
You didn't include the pus.
Huh?
The pus.
Pus?
That's in the dairy.
Wow, she's young. Okay.
It's just so disgusting.
I know. Forget that toxic stuff. All right. I'll confess, back in my karma days, I used to enjoy hard-boiled eggs. Anybody? Is that the most yin or yang way of cooking an egg, by the way? Yang. Most yin is what?
Soft-boiled.
Yes, or poached. Scrambled is kind of in between, right? Isn't it? Omelet more yang, right? Isn't it? Cheese omelet, very yang, right?
Quiche would be the most young.
How about just egg whites?
Yuck. Never did it.
That would be even more young. That's just the protein eliminating the fat.
No, that's more yin. Egg white is more yin. All right, aside from that, we'll do a whole class on that, comparing in the future. Egg is mostly where on this 1 to 7? What is the most and what is lacking?
It's mostly protein.
Protein and saturated fat, correct? Okay, guys? How about mineral?
Not much.
Not much. Very off, 1 to 7. How about carbohydrate? Isn't it? Vacuum. Think back. I can remember. Hard-boiled egg in one hand. What was in the other hand?
Salt.
What were you doing?
Mineralized.
Hi, I'm creating 1 to 7 here. You understand? No taste. Horrible. After each mouthful, I can remember the feeling of the crunch in my teeth. The salt crunch. Oh, so good, right? Right? Don't you remember?
You know, a lot of bars have the hard-boiled eggs on the counter.
And pickled, too. Pickled.
In salt. How would you know? Anyway, okay? Hard-boiled egg. Tell me, why, when you go out, suppose you go to the diner here in Pittsfield, all right, and you want oatmeal, which is what we do. But we're the only ones eating the oatmeal. What's everybody else have?
Bacon and
Bacon and egg.
Why is bacon and egg such a popular combination? What is the bacon providing? Salt cured. More 1 to 7. Can you understand? Okay. That was a resounding yes, okay? That is completely out of balance. What's lacking?
Carbohydrates.
No carbohydrate. Before that,
Potatoes.
ketchup, right? Isn't it? High fructose syrup. Why don't they just do that, right? Oh, come on now. We're getting to it. Let's go out. All night diner. All right? Potatoes, isn't it? Okay? What is that? Carbohydrate. How about a little bit of grapefruit juice? Orange juice? How about that good old toast sopping with butter and a little bit of that Schmuckers on top, right? A little jam, right? Bring out the coffee. Uh-huh. How about the sugar thing? Hourglass. Shh. They're having a little coffee with their sugar, right? Isn't it? So what are they doing? Trying to do what? Trying to calibrate that ridiculously unbalanced karmic dinner, karmic breakfast, into a graceful 1 to 7 state, right? Doesn't work. Why? Because you're taking in what?
They're all extremes.
Yeah, all this stuff that you miss the target, miss the mark on trying to, right? And then all this extra calories, extra fat, extra protein, acid, all of it comes in.
What about pancakes?
Bad sodium comes in, right? Isn't it?
What about pancakes? Now, is that pretty healthy?
Flapjacks, what are you talking about?
The blueberries,
Yeah, and that high fructose syrup. Oh, so great, right?
maple syrup.
Better. But often they have buttermilk or sugar in them, right? So you have to be
So
careful.
when they process the wheat, you're losing a lot of what's up there. It's primarily just gluten and sugar.
Yeah,
No mineral.
yeah, not a whole food, that's for sure.
And that would be the same with spaghetti and meatball. You've got the beef that has no carbohydrates, so you put it with pasta that's all carbohydrate.
I'm stabbing just hearing you talk. I'm coming to the North Shore. All right. Same thing, barbecue. What's going on?
Dipping sauce.
Beef, hamburger, right? Often salt is in that patty, isn't it? Steak, A1. Did you read the sodium content on that? Oh my gosh. Isn't it? Salt. Correct? Isn't it? All right. Still not balanced. What's missing also? Carbohydrate.
Fun.
So the ridiculous bun. No meaning, right? The baked potato. Isn't it? Steak fries, right? Isn't it? How about the old salad? 3D old lettuce and whatever, forget about it. All right? Try to make up carbohydrate. Not enough.
Fried onion rings.
So what are mom and dad doing at the family cookout? What are the kids doing? Mom and dad, they're grilling. By the way, they're taking the yang and making it carcinogenic, right? Yeah. Okay? Hey, have a little bit of this, okay? Right? Fire, animal protein, bad combination. Don't you agree? All right, kids have hot dogs. What are they doing? Mustard, relish, isn't it? Ketchup, bun. Little bit bad carbohydrate. What are the kids like having? Soda. Cooler, ice cold, right? Yeah, kids are not eating the corn. All right, maybe a little potato salad, right? Isn't it? 4th of July. Mom and dad forget the soda. What are they doing? Dad's pounding them down beers, right? Mom is having chilled wine. Still not balanced, right? Maybe some watermelon.
Apple pie.
Apple pie. They have a bake-off and then ice cream on top, right? Isn't it? Now we're talking.
S'mores.
Can you understand?
We're all gonna have nightmares tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna be driving. Where can we get this at this hour? Can you understand? Totally off. So rather than an inherent 1 to 7 state of grace, this is risky. Like a ship being tossed in the storm, isn't it? And that back and forth is what we call karma. Cheese, right? Same thing. Wine and cheese. Why? Missing carbohydrate. Crackers, missing carbohydrate, isn't it? Salty, the crackers, very delicious with cheese, right? Isn't it? All right, so what are you getting from this? This is the causing more and more consequences, right? Do you understand? Karma. So what's the karma? The actual biological, biochemical karma from a high meat, egg, cheese diet. What is the physical karma from that?
End-stage renal disease.
Cancer.
Well, the list is what? How many pages long? Heart disease, cancer, osteoarthritis. Isn't it? Isn't it all osteoporosis? Karma. Karma from the lifetime of these foods.
Cancer.
Yeah, colon, prostate, okay, bone, all of the more yang parts of the body. Yes, mostly, right? How about the karma from all of the refined sugar? 99.9% raw carbohydrate. What is the karma from that? Type 2
Same
diabetes,
thing,
obesity. This is what we call yin extreme karma. Yang extreme karma is the, right? Can you understand? Leukemias, yin cancer. All right, guys.
What did you say was the diabetes?
Sugar,
So, sure.
yin. All right? Lack of complex carbohydrate, lack of the 1 to 7 grain in the diet. By the way, that extreme diet, where does the middle whole foods, whole food means 1 to 7. That's the original concept. Where does that come in at the family barbecue? The family grill. Where do balanced whole foods enter the picture? Do they? No. Skipped right over. Kind of like what we on the East Coast call the Midwest flyover territory. No, that's very high-nosed, right?
What about a hamburger with a bun on a bun?
You mean a whole wheat bun?
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, much better. Yeah. No meaning.
And with cheeseburger.
Yeah, no meaning. Worse.
You know, it's funny, there's a new brand of bread out in common stores called, it's organic bread, but it's called Dave's Killer Bread. That was a funny.
Yeah, mental disease is a result of this too, right? Okay.
All right, so what's good?
You know what's good. You know what's good. You don't need me to tell you.
There isn't any.
Right? The karma, right? Karma has various levels. First of all, please write down for karma. Different levels. Is it there?
She said, no, what's the diet? And I said, it's right there.
Yeah, it's what you're here for. Standard macrobiotic diet is 1 to 7 oriented, calibrated. Just like today we did chanting Om to calibrate your chakras with the universe, your macrobiotic diet is calibrating your entire system with the universe.
Yeah, the
Right.
diet that we have been having is very time consuming. All these vegetables, I mean, starting with the shopping, and to get them all there and fresh, you know, and then you're cutting all this stuff.
Well, you got to set your priorities. You know, what are your priorities?
But I'm talking about what's the solution to the common person, you know, the average person who's got a busy schedule and so forth.
Yeah.
To make it, you know, more accessible.
But Marie, that's because our whole modern society is off 1 to 7. Disoriented. That's why you're struggling. It shouldn't be a struggle.
Everybody's priorities, and, you know, they're not on their health.
Yeah. All right. So karma, right? I just summarized some distinctions I want you to know, because this all ties into what we eat in our lifestyle. Can you see nutritional karma now, what that is? All right? So in the book, there's more of this, more of these analysis. And also the book of Macrobiotics, Micho's book, was the origin of this. By the way, I tell some interesting Japanese restaurant stories, too. Why the white rice is actually better with fatty salmon. Why do you think than brown rice? Why is white rice better? And by that I mean more delicious, not necessarily nutritionally better. Yeah, it's pure starch, right? And why do people drink sake, rice wine, with their sashimi, sushi? Why?
It appears to be
Carbohydrate. Why do they like green tea ice cream at the end of the meal?
I don't. Sweet.
Tiramisu if you go to Bizan, right? Organic.
In America they do that. They don't eat green.
No, the Japanese do. They do now. Sure they do. Traditionally they serve fruit, like raw fruit at the end. But those are all to provide missing carbohydrate. Okay? To make you feel satisfied. And then water comes at the end with tea, right? Okay? Experiment. Let me know. Okay? Yes, please.
I was just going to say, the Japanese food stores now, for instance, the ones in New York City, or the products are really, even the miso and daikon, and it's full of chemicals if you read them carefully for the ingredients.
You can't trust modern day, the Oriental food. You can't.
Yeah, no.
First of all, you can't read the ingredients. Secondly, it's all chemical and sugar. Forget about it. Buy at the Whole Foods at the natural market, right? Okay?
I have a Japanese daughter-in-law. When she goes shopping in the stores in Manhattan, I took her one day and showed her what was in them. She couldn't believe it.
Naomi, any advice to them with shopping in Oriental markets?
Nowadays, even in Japan, we go to the supermarket. It's really difficult to get pure just umeboshi or tsukemono, especially pickles like Japanese tsukemono. We will read the things. Everything is like, I don't know these things. Oh, not just, we know vegetable names, salt, but something like a very strange name, what is that? So many things. So we couldn't buy any pickles even. And umeboshi, many people actively bring back umeboshi, but supermarket umeboshi, sugar, something strange things. So it's really difficult to, you have to really be careful. Yeah, I know, I'm teaching. So just maybe you should go, definitely you can trust the store, or even
I sell more for things too.
All right. So don't beware, buyer beware there. And that's why the products that we have here are specially sourced. In Japan, many of the Japanese, all of the Japanese imports, from traditional producers, people who've been doing this for generations, who started before there were any chemicals, who started before there was industrial machinery, handcrafted miso, handcrafted shoyu, handcrafted pickles, hand-harvested kuzu, hand-processed agar flake. All of this is very painstakingly sourced. So these products are incredibly distinctive compared to the modern versions of Japanese or Asian products, right? Herb, right? Isn't that the case? Herb is in the natural food business many decades now, right? Isn't it? Our products are special. All right? Karma. Short-term karma. Short. Suppose, right? Suppose you guys hear my lecture. That's enough. I can't stand this anymore. I'm going out for bacon and eggs. How dare he mention that in a macrobiotic lecture, right? He's teasing us. So you go out to an all-night diner and have bacon and eggs tonight. What is the short-term karma tomorrow? Right? Or diarrhea, right? Or, right? Whatever.
All swollen.
Yeah, you name it, right? That's short-term karma. How long does that last? Hopefully not too long, right? Until you discharge that and then move on.
Then it's lunchtime.
All right? Long-term. So we call that your condition, which is day-to-day. Conditioned by day-to-day eating. Long-term is more your background. Eating growing up. Isn't it? Until your discovery of, suppose, macrobiotic or plant-based, right? Not only that, your family's dietary pattern, which conditioned you, and mother's eating, especially during her pregnancy, which forms your constitution. Do you understand? That karma is slow, difficult to change compared to you going out tonight for bacon and eggs, suppose, right? Can you understand? Because that is your root. So in the book, I tell the story about Jello, and how it took 40 years for me to discharge Jello. Jello I haven't had, maybe 1969, last time. I totally forgot about it, although I really enjoyed it at that time. I think lime or something, raspberry was my favorite. And then about 3 years ago, I went on a vegan, purely vegan for a whole summer. No fish. And then out of the blue, this monster Jello discharge came. I was enveloped in tasting and for a brief moment became Jello, and then it kind of went out. Where the heck did that come from?
What do you mean you became Jello?
I became one with Jello. What did the Zen master tell the hot dog vendor?
Hold the hot dog.
Make me one with everything. Gretchen, sorry, I couldn't resist.
This is above my pay grade. I'm not following it.
Everyone knows. You feel the food. Taste it, smell it, right? Experience it. Why did it take more than 40 years for Jell-O to come out? You would think like strawberry Jell-O is eaten, right? Color is there, the sugar is there, but why so long? Gelatin is made from bone. The most young. Gummy bears, bad, like very fun, right? Isn't it? Hi kids, look, we're having gummy bears. Gruesome, horrible. Back to that. Dead animal bones, right? Being bulldozed and then boiled down.
So the bone broth, it's all the rage now is, I mean,
That's bad karma.
What about bone broth? I've heard that.
That's what I just said.
Bone soup, bone
Bad.
broth is the latest thing.
Bad.
I thought, so what was your discharge? Were you all?
Jell-O.
What do you mean, you threw up Jell-O?
No.
How was Jell-O?
Naomi was in the room. I turned green for a few minutes and then boom. And started doing this.
Did you get congested?
No, it just came. I don't know. Unmistakable. I did. I said no room for Jell-O.
Do you know what ether is? Back in the 50s,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was an anesthetic that they would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It had a very distinct smell to it. I had surgery as a child, and my first week in macrobiotics at the Cushing
Wow.
Institute, I re-experienced the whole smell and the whole
Yeah.
experience of ether
Yeah.
from when I was a
Yeah.
child. It had been in me for,
You know, that's why there's no such thing as minor surgery.
yeah.
Because the ether's dangerous.
Well, they don't use it anymore, but
Yeah, it's like borderline between life and death,
That's
actually.
hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by experiencing?
I smelt it, I experienced it, I got like dizzy.
Now, was this like in a conference room like this?
I
or
was-
just before you went to sleep?
I was in class, it lasted for hours, and
Yeah.
I could like, I could feel it
Yeah,
coming out
yeah,
of my breath.
yeah.
Yeah, you could smell it on me, the odor.
How about like cigarette smoke, yin or yang? Nicotine. Yang also takes a long time to discharge. Here's the point. Yang goes deep and takes longer. Yin is much more quick to discharge. So I had smoked for a while. And about, what? Maybe about 8-9 years after I stopped, I did what was called ionic foot bath. You know what this is? You put your feet in and then the water turns color. And based on the color, they say you're discharging something.
Right. Is that?
So mine turned the color of nicotine 8 years after stopping smoking. Unbelievable. That's how long, right?
Do you think those ionic foot baths really work?
Yeah, once a year or something, all right. After your lemon bath, you won't need it.
She's not the one taking the lemon bath.
So this, right? This is your constitution. Takes longer. That karma takes longer to discharge, right? And majority of us, modern world, USA, America, or modern world anyway, animal food was the main thing, right? So that takes a while, both biologically and also energetically, even we can say spiritually. But anyway, we're taking the steps needed to discharge that, right? Isn't it?
I thought you couldn't change your constitution.
You can. You can. All right? Everything changes. The next, by the way, this extends actually generations into the past. Right? Yes, please.
Relative to the ionic bath, you think that's a useful thing? Is it a good,
Once in your life is okay.
What's it, so it's not.
You don't want to get in the habit of doing it all the time. The next, by the way, I'll show you an example, Polly, how you can change your constitution in a minute. Personal karma. That means what we're doing, our individual life, right? Isn't it? Our day-to-day eating, day-to-day experience, constitution, family, ancestors, that's all us personally. But also social karma is there. Society has karma. Let me give you an example, Japan, modern-day Japan. What's going on? Do you know the birth rate and rate of marriage among young people now in the country of Japan. Do you know any Japanese people here besides my lovely wife? She's not quite Japanese anymore.
Birth rate is dropping.
They predict by 1/3 of the population will decline within the next 20 years because they're not getting married nor are they reproducing. Now this is social karma, right? Right?
It's the same thing in Sweden.
Okay.
I think it's the same in the States.
All right. Not just Japan. Japan is a very extreme example.
Yeah, but they're adopting the lifestyle of Americans.
That's true.
Women want to be professional.
All right, so there are two factors. One is the biological underlying fact, because reproduction is a biological function. And the other is environmental, meaning social. Economic, right, isn't it? Technological, right, isn't it? Biologically, can you give me several factors that you think might be contributing to this decline of birth rate? Robert.
Testosterone levels are down worldwide.
That's a big factor. Okay. Because of hormone use in the food, right? Of course, right?
And what about
Affecting more men, right?
And
Sperm count goes down.
estrogen-related chemicals are also involved.
Yeah, so that's male, like low sperm count, low testosterone, are factors, big factors, right? Do you understand? But also, what kind of rice are they eating?
white?
Not the seed rice that you guys are having. Do you understand? Why do they throw rice at weddings? This is the symbol of fertility, but not white rice. Yes, that's what they use. But really the origin of that is brown rice. Isn't it? Can you understand? Like Christian Elwell told you, one seed produces like how many? After generation to generation, you got 7 tons of rice after a couple. That's real. What's the word for reproductive ability? Yeah, you understand? But when you're taking lifeless, energyless, starch, yes, it's great with your sashimi and all that, but it's not furthering. What else are the Japanese beside white rice plenty of? Do you know? Unfertilized eggs. They're a major part of the Japanese diet.
How do they get them?
Factories.
Oh, they make the egg?
You know, like egg and white rice, egg and miso soup, delicious actually, but unfertilized egg. Why is that contributing to a decline of birth rate? It's a no-brainer, right? Unliving. Okay? Like the old days, farmers, the rooster would attend to business there, and these were fertilized eggs. Now there's no rooster. All factory produced, right? Unfertilized. All right? Plus, as we said, modern day economy, modern day society, modern day living, especially in the cities, are anti the family, anti the children.
Yeah, well, is the other big, is the availability of birth control.
Yeah, that's part of the societal and environmental factor,
What
right?
about the electronic soup?
Yeah, all of those things, right? Conspiring, right? Isn't it? Can you understand? That's karma. That is societal, social, collective karma. So the individual Japanese, for example, I'm using them as an example, but who want to escape that have to escape from that trend, isn't it? That karmic trend. Okay?
But there's no government controls on reproduction in Japan, is there?
I don't know.
No, like China. Well, no, we all know about China, limited to
Yeah.
one child.
Yeah, and that's going to
They're
produce,
do away with that.
yeah, severe karmic consequences will happen. Something like 100 million men who have no chance of getting married. Do you know that?
Yeah. But they
Talk
brought it
about
on themselves, they brought it on themselves,
an unhappy group.
like killing all those females.
All right. We see our Constitution in many ways. We talked about this today, I believe, right?
I know, it's past our bedtime.
If you don't mind, quick. I'll conclude this quickly. This lifeline, this is our digestive system. We call the lifeline. And ideally, this should be long, deep, and clear. That shows good karma from birth, although you can ruin it And some people have the lifeline that's not strongly formed from birth. For example, we had a friend who had a break halfway through. The lifeline went so far and then stopped and then resumed. What is this? What kind of karmic destiny or karma is this?
Serious accident?
When? When?
Midlife?
Very good. Why?
Bad karma.
The lifeline begins here and ends down here, right, isn't it?
Yes.
That's why we say long is good, because that means potential, not guaranteed, but potential long life.
Wrong thinking.
And what this is showing is actually a fractal, the record of what went on during the 9 months of pregnancy. Played out in your macrobiotic 90 plus years of life, okay? Like Dr. Cottrell. So what you're experiencing in life, the ups and the downs, were the what? Template was formed during pregnancy. And now played out in a, we say, more yin, expanded form. So this meant halfway through the pregnancy, her mother, some sickness, some accident, some extreme, some challenge to her development in the womb. Isn't it? Can you see? And then when she reaches that point in her life, like you said, halfway, crisis. All right? So this, I lectured on this at summer conference years ago. And she raised her hand and said, amazing. Because when I reached that point 5 years ago, I had a life-threatening heart attack. And if I hadn't been close to a hospital, died. Would have died. But fortunately, she got through. All right? That was, we can say, karma from her mother's eating and living, right, during the pregnancy. Correct, guys? Can that be changed? Could that have been modified? What do you think? She was eating up till that time. Can you imagine? She was Polish American. She liked kielbasa. What is kielbasa?
Fat and salt.
Do they have a vegan version? Let's try.
Cabbage is good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hold the kielbasa. Just bring the cabbage, right?
Potatoes.
That type of food, right? Sour cream, isn't it? Rich. Potato pancakes, right? Very delicious. That's partly my ancestry also. And so, because of that high-fat, rich diet, when she reached that point, very serious and life-threatening episode came, right? Can you understand? Because of her dietary karma that she was doing. She was making that worse. Do you understand? How about had she come to the Kushi Institute at that time, even 2 years before that point was reached, and stopped all that and began macrobiotics, plant-based. When she reached that, what do you think would have happened? The same or something milder? Perhaps something very mild, not life-threatening, not even requiring medication. Some discharge, some temporary weak feeling. Isn't it? Do you understand that she smoothly passes through and doesn't risk her life? What would she have done if she had switched to macrobiotics? Changed her what? Karmic destiny. Not karma or destiny, right? My point is you can change your constitution and destiny.
Sometimes your lifelines are different on each hand.
Mother and father.
Right, so would you look at your dominant hand?
You look at your best one. Generally, as we studied today, women should see right or left more.
Right.
Why?
It's a female.
That is mother. And men should see
Right is better.
left. Good for you. Yeah, forget your left. Men should see more the left because that's father. So as we studied this morning, we begin life more as a reflection of the opposite parent. Did you know that?
Say that again?
Opposite parent. Baby girls are baby girls because of father.
Yes.
Baby boys are boys because of mother. Did you know that? Oh yes. Oh yes. I've experimented a lot on that. And usually to my detriment, but anyway. But once they're born, once we're born, we go in the opposite direction toward the parent of the same sex. So women become more like their mothers as they get older. And how many times have you heard guys say once they reach middle age, darn it, I become my father? Isn't it?
Thank you.
Can you understand? So that means you see that hand of your matching parent to determine, right? My point being, we can change the karma to grace by the practice of our macrobiotic way. And that's exactly what we're doing, by returning to that state, like the ocean waves coming in freely, freely, right? Back and forth, right? Yin and yang. That is our blissful existence, right? Okay? Thank you, everybody.
I don't know if this is right, but macrobiotically, looking at this issue, what is your explanation for gender confusion that we see so much of today?
That goes back to the Constitution. Like Rob was saying, that hormones in the food, this and that, plastic, confusion of hormones, right? That kind of thing. All right? In general.
So they're born with an X or a Y chromosome, but how would that affect
The
estrogen?
What was the statistic between men and women at birth? Some enormous amount of different chromosomes. Did you know that? That are not the same between the genders. Did you know that?
Say that again.
Some enormous number of chromosomes are different between men and women. Genetically.
Yeah.
Genetically. So that doesn't change. What changes is more the superficial, like hormone secretion functions, temporary, more surface functions. But the core doesn't change. Okay? It stays the same.
But you do have that confusion, or the children sometimes, they think they're...
Because the dietary or nutritional or environmental factors override them.
Okay, yeah.
But they have to be quite substantial to do that. It's not so easy to do that. Yes, Rob?
And by overriding, do you mean like gene expression?
Yeah, like epigenetic expression, something along those lines, right? Okay. All right, I don't know if that satisfies your answer.
What they're eating.
Diet and lifestyle, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes,
The mother's
please.
diet has to be extremely extreme.
I would think so, yeah. Okay.
My daughter's newly pregnant for 7 months now,